What does the Second Congo War, UN negotiators, and Sum 41 have in common? The answer is this album, and this is probably the craziest story I've heard for the backstory regarding a record. Hi people, and hello my Chili Con Carnage crew, as the man who produces Iron From My Eyes, Chili here, doing a retro review on Sum 41's album, Chuck. Don't ask me questions, 'cause I don't got the answers. If you only knew what time was. There is a lot to unpack when it comes to the story of this album, and we will address how Sum 41 needed the help of UN negotiators in this episode. But first, I wanted to thank the band for the music they have offered us over these years. They released their last album only a few months ago, Heaven and Hell, and are currently performing their final shows, which includes performing at Good Things 2024 Festival in Australia, which I plan to be attending. So thank you for the music. With the release of All Killer No Filler and Does This Look Infected, Sum 41 had become Canada's most successful punk rock group, and household names of course, although considering the competition, it feels like they reached this by kind of default.
Hey, fuck you, buddy!
By 2003, the band began, of course, recording material for their third album, but decided to ditch the frat boy party anthems that they had been known to write for, and instead write a record that was their heaviest to date. The band would tap into their heavy metal influences, utilizing bands such as Judas Priest or Metallica for this effort, and had most of the album written before they would of course make a decision that nearly would kill them in the process. The band decided to fly to the country of Congo to film a documentary about the Congo War and the child soldiers called War Child. And in the process, they would find themselves stuck inside their hotel as fighting proceeded to break out in the area. And the band and film crew would sit by in this hotel for a few tense days, unsure how they would get themselves out of this situation.
We're in Bukavu for about 6 days, and it had been kind of peaceful. But then the night of the 6th day, something happened that changed all of that.
Holy fuck.
And in a few short hours, the town descended into complete chaos.
Lucky for them, a UN negotiator named Chuck Paletia was summoned to help them out, and he managed to get Sum 41 and the film crew out of this sticky situation. After they left, the band wrote one last song for the record and ended up naming the album after the person who saved their life. The album would see 3 singles released from this record, with the first song being We're All to Blame, an uncharacteristically political song for the band that seemed to tap into their vein of their inner system of a down, with its message of a failed political system, and isn't afraid to name who is at fault for the whole debacle we found ourselves in, which was fair at the time. While this was the first single from the album, it was the last song recorded for the record, being the additional tune that was written, recorded, and added to the album after their ordeal in the Congo. Despite the shift in style, this single was well received, perhaps due to the changes going on in the world that could be seen with other punk icons such as Green Day and NoFX. Another single off this album was Pieces, and this was one of the most successful singles off the album, peaking at number 14 on the US Alternative Billboard and number 2 on Canada's top 30 rock songs. The last single was Some Say, and was released in Canada and Japan only, and this song seems to take its basis from Derek's parents being blissfully unaware of the happenings or things that are going on outside of their own world, or perhaps willfully oblivious to it at least. And Derek would even open this song with the all chucked up live recording as this song is about your very, very, very confused parents. I feel like Canada, Japan and Australia pulled a short straw with this last single if we are talking of course against what is the next tune I'll be mentioning as a deep cut, which is going to be The Bitter End, as this song was chosen as a single but only for the American market, and damn is this a killer tune, but I guess you have to hold back some of the best material if you want to sell records and not just singles. Yes, I will be stating The Bitter End as a deep cut because it wasn't released as a single where I am from, so I guess this might be a bit confusing for the majority of my viewers as an odd choice, but that is my reasoning. The other two are going to be Welcome to Hell for its fast, short-paced hardcore vibe, which is quick and to the point, and I always got this mixed up with one of their singles from their previous album, The Hell Song. It would also be another name for their recent album, Heaven and Hell, so maybe there is a returning theme here that I'm just not aware of. The last deep cut for me is No Reason, and true to this song's name, I'm not going to give you one. Alright, it's because it rocks. Enough said. 'Cause I feel like a prisoner trapped inside this broken world. I know a lot of friends who became Sum 41 fans after this record came out, and how can you blame them really? This album is simply phenomenal and it's a real treat to listen to. The band managed to show their evolution from party anthem singles found on previous records to expansive and deep music on this album, which combines some thrash at times, melodic in others, and even an edge of hardcore as opposed to their poppier previous efforts. Ben even mentioned their biggest influences on this album were Refused and Metallica, and yeah, you can really hear that on here. It's almost a stark comparison to their previous efforts like Day and Night to a degree. I'm not gonna lie, I was certainly a casual listener to the band before this record came out, but when this record certainly dropped, it would be the most listened to album out of their entire catalogue I would listen to. One of the other aspects of this album is its cover artwork, which is a very ugly looking piece with shades of pea green and red, and I have tried to find information on what it is based upon, but the only thing I can confirm is the artist, who is Louis Marino, and from a limited search, he does appear to have contributed for DC magazines on some Batman novels, but information is rather limited here, so if anyone can confirm this, please comment below. To me, the album cover seems to represent that the big kid in the forefront is the one in charge and has all the power, while all the other kids surrounding and adorning him also have TVs to spread the information for all to consume, showing us that while deep down they are all children at heart, it is also reflective of the issues that were currently happening in the country, especially in Congo, which affected the writing of this record. The colours are bleak, and I believe this is also very symbolic of this fact. Still, regardless of the album cover, the music on hand is extremely solid, with only one flaw that I can think of, and that has to be the track Pieces, which feels like the band were trying to capture that emo sound during this era. What other random piece I want to add about this album is that when I received a copy of this CD, it was highly damaged, and when I copied this version to my computer, it also copied all the flaws. Yes, I know that this is a forgotten issue from a bygone era of music consumption, but still, every time I think of the track We're All to Blame and it gets to that ending part, it feels weird hearing the real version of the song instead of the copy that I had, which contained massive white noise, of course, and distortion in the last few seconds of the track, almost to the point that it made me want to skip the track. But it's so ingrained in my mind now that whenever I hear this tune, I always hear that at the end of the song. Chuck received mostly positive scores, with AllMusic giving it 4 out of 5, Billboard giving it 3.5 out of 5, E! Online giving it a B+, Entertainment Weekly giving it a B+, The Guardian giving it a 2 out of 5, IGN giving it a 6.8 out of 10, Robert Christgau giving it a bomb or a dud, and Rolling Stone Magazine giving it a 3 out of 5. Over at Rachel Music, the album sits with a score of 3.38 from over 3,000 reviews and is their highest scoring album on that platform. As for me, I will give this album a score of 12.5 million chilies on the spicy scale, with my favourite tracks being No Reason, We're All to Blame, The Bitter End, and Welcome to Hell. There is no doubt in my mind that this record helped propel the success of Sum 41 as a band and cemented their legacy. It contained music that would keep the old fans happy while showing a more mature side for the band members with their songwriting, and of course showing us their abilities to expand on their horizons and incorporate a more experimental side from previous efforts. The blending of metal meets punk was a welcomed effort by both of these communities, and would even find the band landing a spot performing a medley of Metallica songs for an equally visceral performance that was very well received. If you ask me, and you have made it this far into the video, so I'm guessing you're curious to hear me out too, I believe this record is their magnum opus, and of course the pinnacle of all their efforts, despite their follow-up album Underclass Hero being a more successful effort in record sales. Unfortunately, this album would be the last to feature Dave Baksh on guitars, as he would leave the band in 2006, and with his absence the group found a shift in styles as his brown sound, as Eddie Van Halen once called it, left with him. An interesting fact, at least according to Wikipedia, is that his least favourite song to perform is Pieces, so take that with a grain of salt, as no sources were found to back this statement up, and maybe it was a factor that had to do with his leaving while they toured, of course, with this album. He would rejoin the band in 2015 and has performed with them ever since, and I guess that leads us to the conclusion of this amazing record, with Sum 41 currently performing a farewell worldwide tour, as they have decided to call it a day. It is unfortunate, but I'm sure they have their reasons to do so, and with any luck, I will be seeing them in a few months' time at the Good Things Festival, so keep an eye out for that, as I might just do another video on that festival like I have done so in the past. Well, thank you for watching this video. Please consider liking and subbing to this channel, and of course letting me know what your favourite tracks are from this album, so make sure to comment in the section below. If you've enjoyed this content, make sure to smash that like button, subscribe to us, and stay notified for future music related content, because it keeps our manager happy at the end of the day. We are also on Discord, Instagram, Facebook, and all those other social platforms if you want to check us out. As always, people, you have a great day and stay spicy.